Hey, it's Dave here, and in this video we're on our third little segment of reasons why people might not want to do stool testing or any other functional lab testing for that matter. And in this particular video we're going to talk about trust. Why should you trust private labs to find things that are going on in your body that the medical system would not find? And I think the first point that I want to make to keep this debate or these considerations fair and balanced is that it doesn't matter whether it's a test that you do within the medical system or a test that you do with a private lab. There is no single 100% perfect test. You're trying to test things in the human body, which as far as we can tell is the most complex thing in the universe. So the idea that we have 100% perfect, accurate tests in any form of healthcare is delusional. But what we can do is we can do our best, right? So I like to use the analogy of an Apple iPhone or a computer. If we were to wait for the perfect computer to come out, nobody would have owned a computer yet, right? But all of these computer manufacturers, whether it's Apple or Dell or Hewlett-Packard or whoever it might be, they've been selling tens of millions, hundreds of millions of computers, and companies have been selling mobile phones. The technology improves over time. So the power and quality of the computers that we have now are completely outrageous compared to how they were 25 years ago, right? But we were still using computers 25 years ago because we accepted the best for what we could get at that time. And that's where we're at with lab testing. The technology keeps developing, people keep finding new things, then things need to be tweaked and improved. But at the moment, we have really good quality testing. If you wait for perfect testing, you'll end up never being tested, and you might well die 20 years before you were due to die because you pick up something and you miss something that you could have easily found by running the right kinds of testing. Okay, so why would we trust the private labs? Well, first of all, this idea that the private labs are sort of charlatans and pirates and they're just kind of sitting there wanting to take everybody's money is also delusional. These private labs all have medical directors. They have to have medical directors, which are licensed medical practitioners in order to run, okay? They are all licensed, third party, and they are checked for quality control and independent verification. They don't just do their own thing without being held accountable. They're accountable to third-party verification, okay? And if they're not doing their job properly, then they'll get hauled over the coals in regard to that. One of the other things about these private labs is people like me, sometimes we get results that come through that don't quite look right, and we give the labs a hard time as well. I don't just accept what the lab says. I always have to keep in mind what are the symptoms that my client is experiencing? What's the health history? What's the family history? Do these results really map onto that client's subjective experiences of how they're feeling? And 99 times out of 100, they do. But now and again, there's a test result that comes back and you look at it and go, hey, hang on a minute, that doesn't quite look right. And so I raise that with the lab straight away. I say, this isn't right. I need to run another test to make sure that this is verified. So there's quality control all the way through this. Now, the technology that we use, or the labs that we prefer to use, the technology is cleared by the FDA in the United States. The great thing is about these test kits that they can be sent all around the world and you can provide a sample and send them back by FedEx or UPS or DHL or whatever, and they get there within 48 hours. The sample is completely stable because of the way it's preserved. And you know, the FDA is, whatever you want to say about the FDA, some people have doubts about whether the FDA is 100% kosher in terms of its ethics. But for what it's worth, the technology of finding the organism's DNA in the stool sample and things, that's cleared by the FDA. Now, so that's the technical stuff, right? What about real life and the real world? Well, these tests are used by thousands and thousands of doctors. It's not like you just have nutritionists and complementary therapists using these tests. There are a lot of integrative medical clinics, naturopathic medical clinics around the world that use these tests, and they are run by medical doctors, right? So if all of those thousands and thousands of medical doctors and clinics trust the testing, then there's got to be something in it. But I think the most powerful thing around these tests is quite simply the social proof, right? So tens, probably hundreds of thousands of people have used these tests, and they've gotten their results back, and they've taken the action steps based on those test results, and their health has improved. They may have either overcome all the health challenges pretty quickly, or they take baby steps and gradually their health improves month by month until they get back somewhere where they want to go. I'm in that bracket, right? I have had my own story where I felt terrible. I did a stool test with a private lab. I found I had some bugs. I got rid of them. I did another stool test 8 months later. I found some more bugs. I got rid of them. And lo and behold, I improved my health significantly. We've got about 60 case studies written out with the test results and things and people's stories and improvements on the website if you want to get that sort of validation as well. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you trust a little bit more these private labs and the great job that they're doing in bringing technology to the table that is not really present so much in the general medical system at the moment. And in the next video, what we're going to talk about, just something else that ties in very, very strongly with trust is cost, finances. Is it worth the money to buy one of these stool tests? Am I going to waste my money? What happens if the stool test comes back and there's absolutely nothing there? There's nothing on it that's relevant to me. Let's address that in the next video. But for now, hope this has been helpful, and let's talk about health and money in the next video. I'll catch you soon. Thank you.